Why I choose to live in a car. Basically, my channel is going to be about living in a car and getting by as a nomad. I'm currently going south. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm going to be headed south to Texas or possibly over west a little bit to Arizona for the winter because it's October 29th, 2014. And basically, this year, I decided to go on the road and live my life the way I want to live it, instead of working that 9-to-5 job, going home, paying out for a big old house that you don't do anything but sleep in, really, or maybe 4 hours a day you have any, real life in it. That's if you're not spending your 4 hours of free time outside of working and sleeping out of your house, doing grocery shopping and errands and the regular things of life. I decided that lifestyle just wasn't for me, at least not for this year. So basically, my channel is going to be about my coming up with traveling tips on the road for the nomads out there, the people who have the wanderlust. You want to live in a van, live in a car. Being that in the wintertime I'm stuck down in the southern states, anyway, I should just plant myself somewhere and build up some capital, because it doesn't take very long. With that money, I plan on buying, either buying an older model van to live in, like other YouTube van dwellers are doing on the YouTube channels. Check out Dan Travels, Camper Van David, Will Person. There's a bunch of them. Just look up stealth camping, van living the van life, Chris Travels. Just look that up on Google and you'll find their videos. So I plan on buying a used van for a little bit more space, a little bit less in gas savings than my car. I have a 2002 Mazda Protege that I've been doing pretty good with, getting around with for gas savings wise, but I need to invest in a bigger van. Anyway, with that, just follow along on my channel. Feel free to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button at the bottom. For my current subscribers, I thank you ahead of time for that, and stay on with me on the travel as I travel through the United States. And then good afternoon, YouTube subscribers and friends in the night. I'm coming at you from the middle of nowhere. For those of you sitting on your recliners watching this video, in your nice cushy sofas in your nice big houses, wishing that you could do that, but you'll have to wait till retirement or whatnot, I say, why wait? I cannot believe it. I'm out here in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere. I mean, check this out. Move so much of the camera to catch it. More making a video of for myself than anything to remember this trip by. That's the thing, when I get on my deathbed, I want to have everything on my bucket list completed, and this is one of those things. Get lost in the desert in the middle of nowhere. And this is the second time. The first time was going through Tucson to Las Cruces, New Mexico through Tucson. Now I'm going Phoenix to Vegas. And I'm mostly just making a few things at our couch. Potatoes at home. Thinking when I get to retirement, I'm gonna go see all these sights and blah 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 blah. Well, what's keeping you? You may not make it to retirement, is what I'm saying. The one thing my dad taught me when he passed away at 60 is you may not make it. Not that everybody will or won't make it. Some people live to 89, 100, Some people only live 40 or 50, 60, and you never know when your day's up. I was just gonna share some thoughts that I had lately, and the one thing I've learned in my life is way too short to not do what you're passionate about in life. Don't be one of those people who get stuck in their 9-to-5 job. Doesn't necessarily have to be that, or goes to school so long, 6, 8, 12 years or something for a career, like as being a doctor. Get into your career as a doctor, not like it 2 or 4 years down the road and decide, well, I've wasted this much of my life on it, better keep on going. Because the thing about it is, you could die any day, and I'm not trying to be a downer or anything, or be depressing or anything like that, but it's just a fact of life that I've learned. I've lost a lot of people that I know, enough different people to different circumstances in my life to realize, that life is too short. And I'm not trying to be majorly depressing or nothing. I'm just trying to say, live your life for today. Don't live it like you're gonna have tomorrow, like you're gonna have it do something in a week, when this clears up or when I get my paycheck in a week. So one of my passions is driving and listening to loud music at times. And I drive for hours if you give me music and a steering wheel. I drive forever, and it just doesn't bug me. Something about driving. Your mind's not going 100 miles an hour trying to think of every little thing. You're concentrating on just what you're doing. And I think it'd just be a total passion of mine. And then the fact that you wake up in a different place every night, or every morning, I should say, you can go to bed in a different place every night in the van. The idea of that alone sounds good to me, but that's because I'm single, don't have any kids, don't have any wife, don't have any real family attachments or anything like that, so I'm able to do that. You know, and I'm a little bit of an introvert anyway, somewhat antisocial, I guess I would say, to a point, which is kind of why it's half hard for me to make a YouTube video. But we'll get into it. But anyway, that's just some thoughts I had this evening as I'm sitting out here bored, nothing to do. Trying to say, live your life each day and accomplish something, whether it's little or big, each day that you had as a goal or as a on your bucket list that you can scratch off. You know, you want to go skydiving, do it. You want to go rapid river rafting or something, do it. You want to switch your job to something that you think you'd have a passion in, like photography or whatever the case would be. Do it now, because there may come a time where you wanted to do it while you're retired, and maybe you don't make it to retirement. You die in a car wreck or wouldn't get that point. Or you could live till you're 90 or 100, or be one of the oldest guys or women in the world that have been able to accomplish a lot in their lives. Is what I'm saying, to make every moment count. Like I'm gonna try to do. That's what I've learned in my 31 years of experience. So if you're a teenager and in the world for advice, that's basic advice I can give you, is try everything and anything you can once, I guess, good or bad, because at least you're doing what makes you happy. I say, wait. I bought a 1989 Dodge Explorer camper van. She's giving me a little bit of problems here and there. Looks ugly as hell, but I tell you what, an apartment on wheels, and I call it an apartment because it was about the size of my apartment. Basically, a house on wheels is something different. Allows me to get out here in the middle of nowhere. I could technically stay here if I wanted to, but I'm not going to bug with these people too much. There's the bedroom, bathroom, what will be the kitchen, living room, and then, of course, your drive section of the van. Just to tell you, people out here watching my channel, jealous of me or whatever because you're couch potatoes, sitting at home, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but wondering if you have to wait another 20 or 30 years till you get to retirement before you can hit the open road and do it. Here I am doing it on pennies a day in my car there for 5 months, and now I've upgraded to a van. I don't know. In space I've upgraded, I'm not sure on the age. But as long as this baby rolls, she rolls. Just goes to show you can get out here, it doesn't take much. In the meantime, I get to do this. Unfortunately I picked a very busy road, as you can see. I know where all these guys are coming from, Powderville, I think. But anyway, what I've mentioned before, time and time again, but I heard it phrased in a different way the other day, and I want to compare it to van drilling and van living in general. And the thing is, the comparison between astronomers and astronauts. Astronomers study at a distance, and astronauts, of course, go out in space and take all the risks. That's the same thing when it comes to watching YouTube videos about van drilling, van living, and blah 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 blah, and not getting out here and actually doing it. I would classify you as an astronomer because you like the area of study, like to watch the videos and so on and so forth, but don't ever have the time or the money or whatnot to get out here and actually live your life in the way that you want to, I guess, the way this is, and take all the risks. People like myself and a bunch of YouTubers out there, not to, throw out a whole bunch of hats, but Wanderlust Estates, Chris Travels, Nomadic Fanatic, there's a deer. That's just about it, a deer. Those people are out there taking the risks, actually living this life, taking everything, good and bad, and throwing it all in one pile and saying, hey, I'm going to go for it no matter what. If something bad happens, it happens. I'll deal with it. If something good happens, awesome. That's why I'm out here doing what I do, being an astronaut, so to speak. So that's the difference between an astronomer who studies at a distance, from a comfortable distance away, and an astronaut who takes all the risks. Think about the astronauts and astronomer version and see which one you want to be. Think about it anyway. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but take this walking path for example. one choice. You can go up there, live your 9-to-5 life. Yeah, and then there's a chance that someday you might wake up on your bucket and think about your bucket list on your deathbed and wonder if you accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish in life. Sometimes raising a family, staying in one place, having one hell of a job, and retiring is what people want to do. And sometimes others take a different path. It's January 12th, 2015. It's about 11:40 in the morning. About how to inspire others using YouTube. Basically, Mike from Living Free channel he's basically the one that inspired me to get out there and live my life and go after looking for expedited shipping jobs and so on and so forth. That started that 5-month journey was from watching his YouTube channels and others channels along the way, but for the most part that's how it started. And then, like James was saying the other night on the live chat on Wonderless Estate, that I inspired him to get out, not only get out there and live his life the way he wanted to do it and go visit people from YouTube channels and visit places along his trip, like I was doing, living in my car. And so that caused a chain reaction. It inspired me, I inspired. Good afternoon, YouTuber subscribers and friends and alike. It's Grant coming at you from out on the Baker Highway. It's halfway, somewhat between Baker and Miles City, Montana. I just wanted to make a quick video and let you process the thought of, even if you're stuck in a certain town, let's say you have a house, have a kids, have a wife, whatever, have all those kind of stuck financial responsibilities, have maybe family members in your family that are getting up in age and that you have to look out for before you can go out on the road or do anything, you can still get away for a day or two out camping when you put a bed in a car like that, already all set up. You don't have to set up a tent and everything else to go out camping. You literally just park it and sleep in it. This is pretty strong here. I wanted to show you something on my stop on my way. Albuquerque, New Mexico is about 15 minutes that way, so not 15 minutes away from the city limits of Albuquerque. It's some beautiful prime real estate for car camping. This right here is what makes getting out here and doing it worth it. I can't tell you how many times I've been out here, just unbelievable sights and all completely free. Well, as long as you have gas to get out there, completely free to do it yourself. Defiance, Ohio. There's the van. Technically, without markings on the side, I could do some classic cargo van stove camping tonight. March 10th, 2017. It's a Friday. I traveled around the country on pennies a day and was able to successfully do so off and on for the last 3 years. I still consider this to be my dream job, so to speak, because before this I was trying to find, I didn't want to do the 9-to-5 40-hour work week, stay in one place for the rest of my life, you know, women, kids, family, big ass house, that stuff, like your typical American dream. I just would not have been happy with it. And at the same time, I didn't want to roam around the country like a bum like I was doing. Don't get me wrong, I was happy living at, you know, sometimes with $1.50 in my pocket and not even have enough for the rest of my meal, but I was happier than sometimes when I had an $800 paycheck when I was working. But if I could find something that would marry the two, and this is what expediting does, it literally pays me to drive and do what I love. So, finally, after a couple years of trying to get into it, through smaller businesses and stuff like that, I settled for going for a bigger company like Bolt Express, and was able to get on with them, so. Side of the van, of course, Bolt Express, time critical. My DOT stickers are down there. Good afternoon, YouTuber subscribers and friends and the like. It's Grant coming at you from the middle of Ohio. I'm on westbound 6, headed towards Chicago. It's a back road that's just south of, what is it, I-90 or I-80, the toll road. I'm using this back road because I have plenty of time on this 3-day weekend load to get it from Binghamton, New York, which is in the middle of New York, upper state New York, all the way to Milan, Illinois, which is pretty much Davenport, Iowa. It's in the Quad Cities. And it's a 850-mile run, so, but I have 3 days to complete it because I loaded up on Friday morning. It's now middle of Saturday. What are you doing, truck? Getting out of that guy's way. Anyway, it's now the middle of Saturday, and it's July 30th or 31st, I believe, one of the last days in July before August starts in 2017. I haven't done a video in a while, so I thought I'd make an update about it, my experience expediting, and I thought I'll give you a little bit different view today of me driving. I guess you can see some of the driving out the window on one side. Sorry, my phone is hooked to my rearview mirror, so that's about the best view you're gonna get of it. If I'm not looking right at the camera, that's why. It's because I'm trying to drive. Technically speaking, I shouldn't be driving and making a video or driving on and being on the phone or doing any of those other things. My main concern should be driving, but that's partially what I wanted to talk about. The longer and longer I have gotten into expediting myself, and this might be a different thing for you if you get into it, the more it seems like I went, like from any other job, I went from like a newbie, I wouldn't say newbie driving because I've been driving for a while, but I haven't been driving the kind of numbers or the kind of miles repeatedly that you drive in expediting. You know, when I first started out, and, you know, I was like your regular 9 to 5, or even when I was camperman driving, the most I'd drive is like 100 miles in a day. Well, when you get out expediting and the weeks get busy, like this last couple weeks have been, which is good for the paycheck, good for the money, you routinely drive 500 miles or more a day, which is really good for business. But man, once you start doing that for a while, it seems like you go from newbie status to kind of apprentice, learning everything as you go. You know half of everything and then half or not, down to like expert, down to it gets boring after that point. And really, in expediting, not to bring it down or anything, it's a great job, don't get me wrong. It's one of my 3 best jobs I've ever worked at. 3, you know, that falls in the category of a lifestyle. Because it's not really a job so much as a lifestyle, being that you're pretty much on call all the time to get that phone call, to get that load. But I'm thinking about giving up on it at the end of August. Temporarily. I might be back in expediting later on next summer or some other time, but to put it frankly, I miss having friends that you talk to, you know, get to know every single day, you know, your co-workers at work or whatever. I miss the little things. I miss having a bar tab and being a regular at a bar and walking in and they already know your drink. They already know what your food you're going to order at whatever restaurant you walk into because you're a regular. You're there every Thursday or every Friday or whatever. I miss the little things about that 9 to 5 kind of life. Not that I want to go back to working a stationary 9 to 5 life for a long time or nothing, but this winter I'm thinking about working at one of the resorts or possibly a cruise ship. I'm seeing what else I can line up because it's time for yet another new chapter. Shannon, Nebraska. I believe it's January 20th, 2018. It's a Friday. The adventure alone, the travels alone. You know, you go Michigan one day and Florida the next, and Wisconsin the next, and Tennessee the next, etc. I just want to make a quick update for this channel and regarding my expediting experience and going back into it and stuff like that. This coming summer, I want to go work at Yellowstone National Park, just to explore more of western Wyoming because they haven't been able to do that. I've been around Casper and Gillette and Douglas and Sheridan, but when I got to looking at the map, I've never been in the western part because most of that is Yellowstone National Park. And I'm going to save up for a van to do city van drilling with the following winter in the southwest, but basically the Midwest, West Coast, and then Southwest. And then I'm thinking about going into expediting again next coming summer, which will be about a year from now. The wanderlust, the nomad in me is just banging at the wheel, you know, let's get those wheels turning, let's go. Sometimes things in your life, like I was talking about in other videos, things in your life determine where you are at a certain time, and it could be for any kind of reason. There could be the fact that, you know, somebody gets in a really bad rollover wreck or something in going over to South Dakota, across South Dakota this week or like later today or tomorrow, that I would have been in that deal had it not been for my mail forwarded and me having to wait another week on the mail to get here. Things like that happen all the time, constantly, that we don't even notice in the big picture. Not to say I've avoided all sorts of negative things or bad things or anything, but sometimes there's a reason for when things don't go your way. So even if you can't get away from the place where you're at because you work 9 to 5 during the week or whatever, you can still travel around your area and go up in the mountains or the hills or the beach or whatever's next door to you and explore stuff that you've never been at. You know, if there's a reserve or a natural park or a recreation area that you've never gone to because you didn't ever think you had the time, you could go out and do that. And I'm not saying that traveling is anybody's one passion. It's one of my passions. And I'm just saying, get out there and live your life and follow your passions. Do what makes you happy. Reduce a little more world suck. Put the time and effort out there to help pay it forward for other people. And that's what I'm also going to be looking for this week, is maybe opportunities to help pay it forward around here, giving people rides if they had to, because I have extra gas, or lining something up. And that's another thing, is a rideshare might be going through at the end of next weekend, that wouldn't have been coming through this week, that might line up with my going east to be able to help somebody out down the line. There's lots of different reasons in this universe. Karma, good and bad karma, a God above, or whatnot you believe in. Like and subscribe, share my videos, share my channel, leave comments, message me, whatever you would like to do. And also in the process of making a carpeted subwoofer box, pretty much the size and width of a coffin, to sleep in, because Miles City Police Department is now starting to catch on to the fact that I had covers on the windows and curtains and stuff, and I knew that would happen within a month or two. I just knew it already would happen. At first they just started driving by slowly, and then they started spotlighting me as time went on. Then they started knocking on my door, and then they started knocking on my door in places where it's not like I was parked in a neighborhood in a house, by a house where anybody would be, I want to say worried about me, worried about their kids or whatever, because oh my god, there's a creep living in his car. That stereotype that's out there. But I was parked out there in front of the car dealership and behind a medical clinic. There was no houses. Nobody was in either one of those places. They even admitted to me, and the police department admitted to me when they came up there, that they didn't have a call. They just came up to talk to me about what I'm doing sleeping in my car. I don't know, probably suspecting that I was doing drugs in it, or that I'm your typical homeless guy that can't keep a job or something. I have no idea. Anyway, I ended up schooling 3 cops on the side of the street at 4 in the morning, telling them all about how I'm parked on a public street, how I'm not parked in any restriction signs against parking, how there's no ordinance in Miles City that prevents anybody from sleeping in their car, as it would be against the law, or so they speak. They finally determined I didn't do nothing against the law, so I said that means that you cannot legally detain me or arrest me if you're not suspecting me of committing a crime, or if you haven't got me doing so. Therefore, this is a consensual encounter, and I don't wish to not take part in it anymore. I wish you guys would leave me alone, and if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to start filing a harassment lawsuit against the City of Miles City, the Miles City Police Department, and the Custer County Sheriff's Office. Then they all kind of backed off and have since left me alone, but then I've also spent a few of those nights since then at friends' houses again for the whole thing that's going on with hauling kids around, etc. Good afternoon, YouTuber subscribers and friends and alike. It's Grant coming at you from just north of Miles City, Montana. Now kind of northeast on 94. On your way up to North Dakota. I'm just out on the exit. A lot of times I like to go out and find spots like this to car camp out overnight, nice and quiet. The only thing you hear is the interstate, and I can fall asleep like a baby to interstate traffic. During the week I try and stay in Miles City while I'm working, just to save on gas, but on the weekends and whatever, I like to come out on occasion and find a good spot. Today, however, is Wednesday, July 20th, I think, 19th or 20th, 2016. So about a week left of car camping. I'm still gonna keep my bed in here, of course, and go out here like this every now and then, because, man, there's nothing better than coming out here in the middle of nowhere and hearing nothing but the interstate. Getting out here and just hearing the coyotes and the interstate at night, especially when it storms outside and you hear all the shake and the wind, and see all the lightning and everything else. There's nothing better. New YouTuber subscribers and friends and alike, it's Grant coming at you from Lincoln, Nebraska. It's Friday, September 18th, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Basically, what happened was I came to a suburb in Nashville and saw this guy that's pretty dirty, scrunchy looking. I would have interviewed him in the thing, but he cusses all the time and everything else, and I don't want that on my channel. But I picked him up for the sole reason of technically using him to get money from people on the road by flying a sign and whatnot, because he could do it faster than working. He could make 20 bucks and we could get another 100 miles down the road, another 20 bucks, and so on and so forth, and that's what we did for the last 3 days to get here. If you were to tell me that back in the day, and before 2005, whenever they started traveling or doing anything, when I was hitchhiking back then, If you'd have told me that in like 2003, 2004, I'd have said, you're nuts. I just took off in a van and totally winged it to see the sights and meet people and do stuff and say I've been everywhere and seen everything. I mean, even a generic day like today, just staring at the parking lot. I'm staring at a parking lot that I never thought I would see. You know, so for those out there van living, van dwelling, RVing, boondocking, this is a feeling that we all share, not about the generic parking lot or anything. It's the fact that when you pull into a new town, a new place that you've never been to before, it's just exciting like you wouldn't believe, and it's just a generic parking lot. You know, it's just the idea of traveling, of seeing stuff that you might have seen on TV that when you see it in person is way different. This, I want to continue on my series like I did in the car and I did in the van. I did the car in the desert, got out there on the highway and showed you that you can do this for real. Parked in the middle of the highway in the desert, showed you no man's land. Up in Montana, so it showed you big sky country in the van. Parked on the side of the road in the van. You know, and I started this YouTube channel mainly for me, and then I could show family and friends and whatnot of your adventures as you go, because you're making a video of it anyway. But someday when I, you know, might not be able to move around very good anymore, close to retirement or close to death or whatever, I could go back to these videos and go, oh my god. And it's funny, when I play a video of myself, I can literally smell, taste, touch. I can put myself right back in that environment where I was at, watching myself on a video. It's just completely nuts. So I mean, and that is what is worth life. Life makes life worth living. I comment, do something each and every day to reduce world suck, at like James of Wonderlust Estate says. And like I say, do something to pay it forward. Get out there, and if you see a situation in which you know, you have the ability to help somebody out, whether it's monetary or whether it's just helping somebody pack their food or their laundry or something, or changing a tire or whatever. If you know you have the ability to do it, and it looks like they currently don't have that skill or that ability to do it in that day, in that time frame, then go ahead and help them out. Because I tell you what, it'll come back at you tenfold. Rapid City, South Dakota. It's Thursday, August 8th, 2016. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 2013 and 2014, I went all over the place with my Mazda and my camper van. So this is going to be around 3, but this time I'm gonna just hit the road. That's where I'm the happiest at anyway, when it comes to me. There was nothing better than those every other day. You know, you pull into some place, everything's brand new, and you go check everything out over the next couple days, and then it starts to get old, like you start to feel like local as you know where everything's at. And then by the 3rd day you're moving on. And I did that over and over again in my camper van, and that was the best time of my life. You know, I saw Nomadic Fanatic Eric post about gunshots and stuff right outside his RV. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want that to happen right outside my van or anything like that. But it's an adventure like that. But there were scenarios like that. There was 2 or 3 different what I called cops episodes in that Murfreesboro, Tennessee, I think it was, if I remember right. That's the other thing. It goes to totally different places. You can't remember what's what or where stuff's at, and that's why it's a good thing to have a YouTube video. But anyway, there was episodes like that, or that crackhead that was, I think that was in Ohio? I don't remember. I'd have to look on the video. But there was a crackhead that was outside of my van, out behind my van, when I had my camper van, and they had to tase him twice, and probably had something like 6 officers or something pointing guns at my camper van, not intentionally at my van, but at him. And if they missed him, if they had to shoot him or something, it would have come through the walls of my camper van, and that was the most dangerous situation I've been in yet to date. But not to say that I want to chase after bad situations like that, but you take the good and the bad together. And there's just multiple occasions, both good and bad, that were friggin' awesome, that I want to get out there and see I can do again, and hit the road and get paid to travel to do it. So knowing that that's what I want to do, and knowing that I just do not feel comfortable going back into a, I don't know, an office building 9-to-5 type of job. For me, it'd have to be in the evenings anyway, but I'm just saying, yeah, it's just not my thing. Just like living in an apartment, just not my thing. I have to move around too much, and if I could just get paid to live and travel in a camper van, or in a cargo van, that would be enough room, all the more room I need anyway. And I could make it work very easily adapt to that situation, being that I've been living like this off and on for these last 3 years. This rideshare. There might be a rideshare just for a company or whatever to go across the state of South Dakota and Minnesota and stuff like that. Help somebody else out along the way if they split gas with me, fine. If they don't, at the end of the day, I paid it forward and help somebody out anyway. Plus, you have the company, so you're not alone on the whole entire trip. I don't mind being alone. I can drive anywhere, anytime, all the time, but just it would be nice to be able to give somebody the option to pay it forward. Good afternoon, YouTuber subscribers and friends of the like. It's Grant coming at you from mile marker 106, Highway 25 northbound, or Interstate 25 northbound. Yes, I'm actually happy on what should be one of the crappiest days of my life, being that my house and car, essentially, is going to the scrapyard in the sky. The tow truck finally gets here. Wyoming Highway Patrol was here a little bit ago, so I apologize for the wind noise. I wanted to show you the background out here, but it's really windy. Always is in Wyoming. It was one hell of an adventure. I gotta say that. The things I saw, the things I did, the things I didn't think I'd do. My God, I wouldn't take back any of it. It's been one hell of a ride, even with what's happening today with the blown engine. Every time something bad happens to you, it's essentially for a reason, but it's to open a new chapter in your life. I have this feeling that I'm going to be maybe hitchhiking a little bit, or call friends to get me, or take a bus or whatever, you know, and it's all up to what life wants to hand at me. But then after that, I got this feeling that a whole new chapter of my life is going to be started. If that is the case, she would be my reason for coming off a road, but it would be, I think it would be worth it. Then I could see myself in a life with a house and a car and kids and dogs and a white picket fence and, you know, the whole 9 to 5 thing. I could see that if I had somebody to spend my life with. Otherwise, if it's just me and no responsibilities, there's no reason not to. It's been one hell of an adventure. I mean, I even with what happened to me today, I still say get out there and try this, because this is just unreal. Good afternoon, YouTuber subscribers and friends and the like. It's Grant coming at you from the middle of the Everglades. It's like the Everglades National Forest or something in the bottom tip of Florida. Just bringing you another one of those roadside videos to encourage you to get out here and live your life and do things. Right now, 5 years ago, I would have been in Rapid City, South Dakota, or Miles City, Montana, one or the other. Or maybe even Oryx. And anyway, I'd been freezing my butt off, running from my car to work, or from my work to the car, and from the car to the house, in, I wouldn't say 6 feet of snow, but, you know, cold enough temperatures. And instead, I decided to change my life around and go see things and do things that I never thought I'd get to see in my lifetime. Just driving the roads alone, you know, completely free, well, except for gas and your food. You know, you get out here, you pay car insurance, gas, food, find yourself a dependable ride some way or another, and get out here and live your life. Get off that couch for the couch potatoes, etc., that are out there kind of iffy about whether you should get out here and do this or not. I'm out here on pennies a day, alone, in my car, venturing, seeing things that I wouldn't believe. Like there's these 2 huge eagles up there in the trees right there behind me. And of course, Florida, at least southern Florida, is known for its alligators. So I better get back on the road before I get ate by an alligator. But I just wanted to make a quick video and show you that you can get out here on pennies a day even. I'm completely winging it. And I'm having the most awesome time of my life. Like and subscribe, leave comments, and we'll catch you on a flip. Peace. Good morning, YouTuber subscribers and friends and like. It's Grant coming at you from the side of Interstate 80. Just outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming. I ended up ditching the train hopper hitchhiker this morning. I got a train track because they got really mad. He peed on my seat and everything else, and then between the dog making messes and him making messes, and they sent me that tow right there, just right here. So I gotta get. Good afternoon, YouTuber subscribers and friends and like. It's Grant coming at you. I finally made it to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. There's no metered parking on the street. I have $4 worth of gas, or buy a quart of oil, depending. That gauge in the gas gauge is kind of weird, and it keeps going up and down when you get empty. So I don't know. The float is just all over the place in that gas tank in there, but she got me all the way down without even having to gas up that last $4. So, and I got food stocked up. So the one thing I wanted to point out is every single time I pull into a new town and stop, park, and go to start walking around and exploring, it's like Christmas all over again. I swear, that feeling will never get old. Love it. Brand new place to go check out. Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's Tuesday, September 20th. Basically, it was too hot in Texarkana, Arkansas. Overnight, it was 78 degrees all the way through overnight. I had to have the windows down. I stripped down to my shorts and everything. It was just, ugh, two sweating balls hot, so to speak. Your basic stuff. And keeping that in mind, and the fact that it only takes maybe $30 to get 350 miles, give or take. At a shot, I decided to go through the state of Louisiana, northern Louisiana, kind of the northern part of it, north at the top of the boot, so to speak. Mississippi. I might hit Alabama before going up to Tennessee. East of Shreveport, Louisiana, as I'm making this video. Like and subscribe, leave comments for Kitchen Flip. Louisiana, northern Louisiana bayou, pretty much. Back in 2006, I went through the states of, basically the southern states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia on the way to Florida on a bus. Way back in the day in 2006. But outside of that, I haven't never stepped foot in these states. So today, this afternoon, I am going through Louisiana, possibly going into Mississippi and Alabama before going north back to Tennessee. I just wanted to give you a look at what I've been staring at for the last couple hours. Like and subscribe, leave comments for Kitchen Flip. Video 3 or 4 of the series, I'm not exactly sure. I'm in the middle of Louisiana. Almost to Whitesburg. I guess it is. It's at the other end, so a little bit over middle. Halfway across the northern part of the boot of Louisiana. Just wanted to touch on the fact that I could have died probably 1,000 different ways, 1,000 different times today. And haven't yet, but I'm just saying that you should get out there and live your life the way you want to live it. Let's say like when I worked at Walmart for that 10.5 months, I got into this, I guess, comfortable routine. I'd go to work at around 2 and get off work at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Every night, and after doing that a few days, and then turns into a few weeks, you get into kind of this routine of this is what you expect. And us as human beings are habitual creatures, meaning we like to do the same thing every day. Well, you can do that kind of thing on the road too. You can drive a certain amount of hours or whatever and visit different places and whatever and be completely different during the day, and then pull into someplace at night like I do and watch, your same old TV shows, whatever. Right now I'm currently watching Shameless and on Netflix, Rescue Me on Hulu, and then Chicago PD is starting tomorrow night, I think, through Netflix. Same old TV shows that I'd be watching at home on your cable television kind of thing, except for you watch them commercial free or whatever. And just the point being that I do the same thing every night, but travel to different places during the day, and you can do that kind of a thing and get out there and experience things like this. This is going to be different. I haven't tried it yet. Cheap version of off-brand soda of Big Shot Grape Flavor, New Orleans own. Big Shot Grape Flavor. More of a local beverage company. We're close to New Orleans, Missouri, obviously. Never had it before in my life. I'm pretty sure it'll taste like grape. But it's the things like that. You try the food out, you try the local drinks out, you can talk with the locals on the road, just observe different locals, like at this gas station here, and I can't even pronounce the name, Duluth, or not Duluth, Dolai or something, I don't know. I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce it. But it's a pull-off the Interstate 20 eastbound, east or west on I-20. And there's a couple foreigners in there, I think from 2 different countries, trying to talk to each other. The one, the couple that owns the guy and the woman that own the store, you can tell, and their employee that's from a different country. You can tell they're speaking different languages. I can't understand what they're saying, but I can tell they're speaking in different languages to each other and having a hard time communicating with each other, let alone English. And it's just the interesting environments that you could put yourself in just by traveling alone. I'm not saying that your passion has to be traveling or whatever. Just get out there and live your life and do whatever makes you happy, instead of working I wouldn't say a 9-to-5 job, but working that same old job, 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, whatever, and doing the same routine. If that makes you happy, if that, you know, is the thing, if you have, of course, if you have kids and responsibilities at home, you're taking care of your parents, whatever it is at home that, you know, ties you down to that area, that's one thing. But if you don't have those kind of things, you can easily buy a van, a used van that's in decent enough condition for $2,000 to $4,000 or something, and get on the road in no time flat. Save up a little bit to fix the van up, and save up to have a savings before you get on the road and so on. Or you can wing it like I'm doing. Make payments on something like this. Hold off on the payments for a month or two like I'm going to do here for a little bit. And have a pretty reliable vehicle to drive on the road. And totally wing it like I'm doing. I have just over or just under 400 left to mess with, but being that I'm only having to take care of myself with food and gas and laundry and showers and stuff like that, it's figuring I'm maybe spending 40 bucks a day worth, 30 bucks worth of gas for a gas tank a day, and 10 or 15 bucks to eat on is all I'm spending to get through these next 3 states on a limited budget. But basically I'm taking kind of a long tour around before going up to Tennessee, just because so I could do it. The whole point being is I could die tonight in my sleep. I could get in a car wreck this afternoon and die before I'm even able to upload the video, etc. It could be my time. Nobody ever knows when it's your time to go, and so you should complete what you want to complete on your bucket list. You should do the things you want to do while you have the time to do it, which is partially why I'm taking the next day or two worth to go back through these states that I was through only one other time on a bus. I didn't get to see much of. Wanted to just drive it, so I decided to put that on my bucket list, and that's what I'm doing. Driving through those states and stopping off at different places and experiencing the local stuff. Each state has to offer within a limited budget this time around, but you do what you do within your limits. But if you can afford it, there's no excuse to not to get out there and live your life and enjoy it while you can, because like I say, I could die tonight, and then where would I be? I would not have gotten to be able to do the stuff that I got to do today, etc. Would have never experienced the little things of watching these two different foreigners try to talk to each other and stuff. It's kind of funny. See the fact that there's must have been 16 different Louisiana State Patrol officers in a couple different construction zones, and they really take their construction zones seriously, at least on I-20. They have like 4 cops at every construction zone to slow people down. It's kind of neat, actually, but I'm just saying in general. Things out there I'd have never in my mind thought I would ever get to see way back in the day, and let's say maybe even 2007, 2008-ish, I would have thought I would never be out here traveling like this. But once you start doing it, man, it's just addicting as hell. Seeing the different places, the different people, the way the locals in this area interact versus what locals act like in like Montana or wherever. That kind of thing. And then the ability to be able to go out there and do it, and that way down the line someday, in a couple years from now, I'm sure I won't be doing this forever, but in a couple years from now, when I settle down, I can look back and say I've done this and I've done that and I've done that, and have it all on video and have it all on a bunch of pictures. You know, and the songs that play during that time remind you of stuff. The videos, of course, that I'm making, I can sit there and watch it myself. It's unbelievable the amount of memories you can make just traveling down the highway. The experience is good and bad that you can have, that quite honestly, even the bad ones I wouldn't take back, because you always learn from something one way or another. I figure it like this: you're driving along on a straight path, and something comes along in your path, and you meet somebody, or you go someplace and do something or another. Some good or bad experience comes along and pushes you left or pushes you right onto a different path. And from that point on, you're a different person than you were the day before, etc. And so, getting out here and traveling, I'm opening my mind up more than your typical sheltered person. I wouldn't call them really, really sheltered, but people that grew up in the same town, worked their whole life in the same town, and died in that same town, never really got to experience all of the U.S. the way other people who travel can. You know, all of the U.S. feels like my backyard now that I've been out here traveling. It all feels like a backyard, like I've been here before, I've done this before. Kind of like your backyard in your local town would be, but instead the whole USA is my backyard. And it's just the feelings like that, you know. It's hotter than hell today, but I love traveling through the hot or the cold or the mountains or the desert or the beach. Wouldn't give it back for the world. I mean, I'm happier now without working, knowing that I'm not working, knowing that I'm on a fixed income, basically, of this some X amount of money, and then once that money runs out, I've got to go back to work or got to go to do something. But right now, I feel totally free, and there's nothing in the world quite like it. You know, I hope to not have to go back to a fixed stationary job somewhere. I'm hoping to be able to get into expediting so I can continue to feel like this. Limited, because the load determines where you go, but outside of that, I have my own time and my own freedom to determine what I do on that journey. Like and subscribe, leave comments, we'll catch you on a flip. Once again, crossing the Mississippi River. Entering the state of Mississippi. I was hoping to find a spot to get a picture with the state of Mississippi sign, but it's not going to be here. I don't think, unless it's down here on the sand. But, adding this to the video clip. Well, I stopped at this riverboat casino. Vicksburg, Mississippi. Here, all the machines are $1 a play, and then to win anything, you have to play the max bet, which is $3 or $5, or on up. Then they have restaurants with a second level, and I believe a hotel on the third. A bunch of blackjack and poker tables. If I had more money, I'd stick around and try that. But save my money because the machines were paying pretty good. Only found the one machine that paid decent, and then lost it, but I gambled on that one anyway. So donated 20 bucks to the economy around here, but that's what I get. Right on the Mississippi. I'm gonna go on that old bridge right there, the regular interstate's past that, but the old bridge right there back over the Mississippi. And if it's worth making a video of, that'll be on the next clip. Well, I haven't quite found out if you can drive on it yet, but it's a half a railroad bridge, half a car bridge. Back in the day, I don't know if I think it's just one way across the river for cars. Not quite sure. This is the new one, of course, the Interstate 20. Anyway, give me a second. There's a walking path there too that you can walk it anyway. Maybe they converted it to walking. Which would be weird if that train bridge wouldn't be active if it was a walking path. But this is a weird stretch of I-20 eastbound. I'm sure the westbound lanes are right over there somewhere, but because of all the tall trees, I wonder how many hours they get to stare at this. Heading towards Alabama and possibly Florida, depending on if I'm going to dip down there or not. I'm going to see how far I can drive today, or I'm willing to or want to, before eventually having to head back north up to Tennessee. I can subscribe to the comments for catching up. But I think it was kind of a waste to buy a Class B, and for my kind of lifestyle, for somebody who lives in a city and just jumps to the next city over or something, or just takes a couple trips a year, it would be worth their time to live in a Class B and haul that weight around of a bathroom and everything else. But for somebody like me who travels every 3 days to a new city, to every 3 days across country, just constantly traveling, it would be way better to have like a station wagon or a minivan or something with better gas mileage. All I really need is a car with a dedicated bed. So if I could have something better than my Mazda, as good of gas mileage as the Mazda, but nothing like the Mazda that has all sorts of sensors in it, I'm not going to go back to that kind of an import, because it just had one sensor go off and they all go off. But anyway, if I had a slightly bigger size car than the Mazda and big enough to put a dedicated bed in the back, that's all I'd really need. That's what I've learned from this van. I don't need this size of a van, and I don't need that small of a car, so I need something right in between that. Would be perfect for the way I travel. And so I should prepare for what I already do instead of prepare for something else that I never end up getting done, supposedly, the way it happens. So tuck it on the phone again. Anyway, but basically I had a few trolls on my video talking about how bad I was with the van. I missed the van life, but I don't miss that big of a van. Let's just say I didn't need that much space overall. I like the headroom, but the gas mileage would about kill me. Next time if I do hit the road, I'm going to be like Vanlife Journey and picking a smaller like Sierra or Dodge Journey or something and putting a dedicated bed in the back of a station wagon, something that's a little bit bigger than your normal average car, but not huge like the van. 3rd, 2016, it's a Saturday afternoon. I'm back in Rapid City, South Dakota. And that's the other thing, is that 25-day apartment, I found out real fast that I'm pretty much spoiled rotten on living in my car, because I just love it. On the nice days, and especially all of September and October are gonna be the nice fall months where everything's not too hot or not too cold. So it's the best time of year to be out in the car camping. I don't know, maybe that apartment just really turned me off to going back to living with somebody or not, or what, because of the loud TV and the loud noises and everything. I couldn't sleep. The funny thing is, this loud of traffic that we're having right now, I could sleep through this like a baby out here with the wide open windows and everything. I don't know what it is about it, but almost more noise out here, and I could sleep better than in an apartment. Just I've been spoiled rotten by the fact that you can move around and park wherever you want. What I'm gonna do, but I feel a hell of a lot more freer just not having to go clock in all the time. It's not, you know, that not knowing that I don't have that 40-hour work week ahead of me. I feel way better. And the whole, every time you have to go in there, and it seems like you give up a part of yourself every time you clock in and you clock back out, you get it back or something. But in that meantime, your whole life's on pause while you're at work because you're doing something they're compensating you with money for, but you're doing something that you don't really want to do. You're just there to make the money at a job. That's the difference between a job and a lifestyle. When I was growing up in a ranch, we had our, what I would call a lifestyle, because I didn't know any better at the time, and that's everything I knew. I grew up in it. We lived and breathed being on the ranch, and then the same thing as when I was becoming a police officer. It's the same thing as if you tick people off, sent them to jail, and they got back out and got mad at you or something like that. You always carried a gun on you, and you were always on duty even when you're off duty, because of that fact that, you know, you're kind of an enemy of the general public. The criminals of the general public, I'll say. And so because of that, you kind of live and breathe that profession too. So there's lifestyles out there that you can do, and hobbies that you have a passion for or whatever, that make it so that life doesn't feel like you're going to work. And expediting would be that for me, because I love driving and I love traveling. Just being someplace new every night or every couple nights, that would be the bomb. So I know that expediting would turn into a lifestyle choice instead of just a job. We'll see what happens, but in the meantime, I feel a whole lot more freer. I love the idea of not having to wake up for nothing. I can turn my alarm clock off on my phone. I can turn my do not disturb thing off on the phone, because it doesn't matter if I get woke up at night now or not, because all my time is my time.